have their doctors and people sign them.
Oh, you talking about can't be within sold.
So it's such a time or until they,
I know it's
so they have to,
in
would
that.
have to work for
This
us.
is just,
At least 2
you
years.
afford this and you're just gonna have
We're
to
gonna
have
pay
some
for
sort of
training.
terms.
I know,
If they don't,
you know, the
then they have to
hospital
pay back.
makes you do that, but
Terms of repayment.
They don't.
In that, there's no authority, no KRS cited or anything in that, you know, to give us authority to do it. So that's what
Yeah.
I question.
Parker, make sure that on this very last page, that's one I'm
One
eyeballing too, the one's got the bulletproof vest and all that stuff on that, and
That's only optional. That's just that's a sample there. Some of them don't have bulletproof vests or anything, but that was just put on there as a sample to show what we could charge for.
We get compensated for.
Oh, Exhibit A, that's the
Yes,
sample,
sir.
that's what that means.
Yeah.
Only thing you can collect off this, he's a lawyer, but I'm just telling you my experience. I've seen this through the circuit court 2 or 3 times, and it usually don't hold water. I don't know what part of it don't hold water. Only thing you could ever collect out of a police officer sending him through 18 weeks basic training is his salary. And I don't know if you
Yeah,
can do that.
minimum wage, $7.25.
We did it
I don't
one
know
time
if
on
you
one
do that.
employee.
I've never seen it go through the Harlan Circuit Court yet, but I mean, you know something I don't know, but 2 in Everett, 1 in Harlan, and I don't.
We've had one where we actually did
It
get
did not go
refunded
through
from
that
the,
I was in.
it was, DOT, one of our guys left, we went with them and they reimbursed us.
Oh, yeah, but see, we've got a contract right now. When we take a pops test, I would see these guys do pops, you see these bills we get 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
phase 1, 2, and 3. I have got a year, nobody can come get that officer. If he quits us, goes, somebody's gonna pay us for that pops test and all that
Right.
stages of things. Now that was a whole lot because there's a KRS to it.
Uh-huh.
Say, I was pops and I work here a month and I go to Harlan PD. Harlan PD's got a valid contract, or he cannot be a police officer. He cannot be nothing.
But he's got to agree to sign it.
Yep. But now this other is,
I get what you're saying, you don't know what the technicality.
and then we'll have to do personnel.
That's why we
Yeah.
let Parker take care of the technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any, anything I've said here, it's just been discussion.
I know.
yeah, we know that.
And
Maybe by December.
up in
That's
court
where
with
it's
these
gonna turn
things,
it
it
over
never
to
goes
you.
to court, but it might be an incentive to have the employee to
And we
be
need
more
to do
dedicated
when
and
we keep our
stay.
officers within our-
Yeah, that's true. That seems to help more than, because nothing would go to court on these things, I'm sure, but.
It's interesting, but I mean, we need to keep our officers within our.
Right, we train them, we need to.
It's just information, we thought you'd be interested in knowing how much salaries are from January 1st.
But it's on the fire department.
Okay. I was just confused.
Yeah. No, I think it's on the fire department.
Because he's the police chief in other cities.
No, I think it's on the fire department.
Oh,
Annual report.
It's talking about that one that shows the wages on the fire department. Chief's the-
Yeah, because there's no day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen him, but I thought,
Okay, any additional suggestions or comments or concerns?
It's sort of changed a lot.
Right. Need hams for Christmas.
is that what the,
That's
okay. You need that in the form of a motion?
Well, hams are credit, gift certificates, whatever.
Did they like the gift certificates better last year than they did a ham, or?
What, let me put it this way,
It's a lot easier to get gift certificates and let them choose what they want. ham
Because
or
some
turkey.
people don't like ham, some like turkey, and some.
how much was the gift certificate last year?
How about 25, so it voted for last year.
You wanna do it that way?
That's fine with me. Gives certificate.
I want to.
Well, yeah, that's fine. It is, that's fine.
I think they like
Yeah,
it.
but it's so hard to keep those stored
Gift
too.
cards.
Yeah, it's just-
Give them $25 gift cards for,
Everybody eats meat.
From who?
I know.
Food City.
Damn, anyway. Every year we
Well,
get
yeah, that's
2
handy
hams
for
from City
anybody.
Injury. We had God, keep on most of them.
All in favor, so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Let's see, Christmas is on what day?
Tuesday,
Christmas is on what day?
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Robin's.
Christmas Eve's on Monday.
Robin, on that, who made the first motion? Who did that?
So-
Charles. Okay. And David said, thank you.
So is there personnel off on Christmas Eve, or what is, I can't remember.
It's,
What day of the week?
according to what day of the week, it would be on a Monday, so they would be off. And it's in a-
Christmas Eve is Monday and Christmas Day is Tuesday.
So they need it Friday.
uh,
They need to be given it, what, Friday? No?
Monday.
No,
Tuesday.
Monday.
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 Oh,
Monday,
okay.
Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
You don't
I
wanna
skipped a day.
So they'll be
Just
off.
don't
That's
forget.
good, Friday, Monday and Tuesday.
We just voted it in. You know it.
So I don't think we need a vote on it because it's in the personnel ordinance. that they're
Yeah,
off
it
on
is.
Christ- Unless it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, something like that.
But they'll be paid for it all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday.
Monday.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, y'all.
Robert. Boy, you
I heard, I was gonna make it generous, wasn't
Yeah, buddy, good.
I? I didn't
Give
hear
me
no
extra day
complaints
just
from
for
Wayne.
Christmas.
Monday and Tuesday.
Robin was okay with it.
Yeah.
Before we go to the council comments, Wayne, did you have a report you wanted to make about anything? I've overlooked you.
I've got my regular reports, but I don't know if these council members, some of them's aware of it, but let me get this out first, and this is our monthly reports.
Is that all you got?
That's all, that's water. But you can't have my water. You can't have my water. Yeah, Jim Bush can tell you that. You had plenty of funerals, thank you. Exactly.
But, I was gonna address the council and the mayor, he knew about this, but we did have an accident on one of our cruisers, I'm sure everybody's probably aware of it. Luckily, it wasn't damaged that bad, we done, 99% of it in-house, got it back on the road, so it is back on the road and running again. Biggest cost was a rim, tire, and, park light system, and it done a little damage to, the bumper, and they put it back together, and it looks cosmetic, it looks about as good as it ever did, and it drives good, and we got it back on the road. So
What caused? What happened?
the guy was transporting actually 3 juveniles to a little below Tots area down in there. It was going to be, he met Harlem PD. These were runaways, juveniles. Anyway, he cut in down at the service station down there, and when he cut in, it was foggy, and he went up on a curve twice before he done. And when he hit into that, it busted the tire. It's the biggest thing that happened to it. Bent the rim, and this little skid went through there. They had to get a wrecker pulled it off without tearing up something, so they pulled it back off with a wrecker. And we brought it back to the maintenance building, and we checked it out.
Was
We
this,
looked at it there, and then I took the tire and the rim off the killing tire, changed it. Actually, we beat the rim out, they took it, beat it out, and I took it back over to killing tire, and we spin balanced it. We're gonna use it for a spare. It's up, and it's not got any great big wobbles or anything in it, so we're gonna use it for a spare, so.
was this one of our recruits?
No, he's an academy trained officer.
Does all your officers have coats for the winter and raincoats, all this? Okay, how many, you got 7 officers total
Right.
here. How many does not have coats?
Oh, anybody's got a coat.
Uh,
Not that the city has bought us, put it that way.
Okay, how much
What
does a
about the
coat?
ones that were bought at the coal event?
Well, I was supposed to say, we got those, but those
Okay.
belongs to the officers individually, and most of those
That's right.
officers are gone now. Most of those officers.
How much does a coat usually cost?
I'm gonna say, off the top of my head, no, I'll write this down, $2.25, $200, $2.25 a piece. If we're a good police
Yeah.
coat somewhere, I mean,
Vest?
I'm getting a little fluctuation up or down, but
That's
around
right.
$225.
Do they have vest? Every officer have his own vest? Is that
That's- You're talking about bulletproof vests?
Uh-huh.
No.
We
No.
usually try to apply for grants for those.
We have applied for one, we haven't heard anything from them.
Do we have any vest in the police department?
Well, but
There's a date on them.
Yeah, and
I'm
all
not
those
trying
ran
to
out, I
answer
put it
for
that
you.
way.
Oh, they
I put
ran
it that
out.
way.
One,
And
they're
it's
only
storming
good
the
for
wrong
five,
way.
is it
They-
5 years or am I wrong?
4 to 5 years, depending on who you talk to, what company. But if you
Then
storm
you
in the
have to change
wrong
it.
manner,
Uh-huh.
you can't hang a vest up like most people hang a dress or a coat up on a coat rack and hang it. You can't hang it, you gotta lay a vest, it's gotta stay flat all its life. In a flat surface, you can't hang them. A lot of people, a lot of recruits get a vest and they hang it up in the closet, but that's the worst thing you do. All the stuff falls down in the bottom of it, and you ain't got nothing up here where you need it, so.
So
My
we-
personal opinion, all the vests, they should be worn when they have them at all times, in my opinion. I
So
know
we
it's not
basically have
mandatory,
no
but they should.
vest.
Basically, no vest.
Lights,
Flat
does ever,
spots.
all of the officers have their own lights, or have we purchased lights?
We have, they have purchased lights
Yeah.
several years
Talking
back.
about the
But they still go
vehicles or
bad.
the-
And we got a bunch of bad lights, I'll just be honest with you. We got a
What
bunch of
about your
bad-
emergency
bad
packs that goes in your car?
Batteries in them.
What about
Emergency
your
pack.
emergency packs that goes in your cars? Are they all current and
They should be pretty current on that, yes.
you got everything you need in them?
Pretty much. I ain't gonna say
I didn't
everything.
ask pretty much. I asked, do you have? So you're saying no, not
Road
no.
fires,
Have you,
things for.
have you put any purchase orders in for that stuff, Wayne?
No.
Huh? Were you intending to?
Okay,
You know, we was trying to get some grants for some of this, I mean, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're trying to save the
Right,
cities.
and
wouldn't- you wouldn't
uniforms,
get in an emergency situation where you wouldn't ask for something, right?
Oh, no, if I got a situation, I'd come and ask you.
what about their uniforms?
We
How
wouldn't
many
say that,
uniforms
we're
are
just
they
asking
required
what
to
you and
have?
don't have. It's not about what you
Right.
asked or didn't
Yeah.
ask.
The,
or
the
is it
police
an
department
emergency.
needs to have, they need to be,
What I'm noticing on our budget
Took care
here,
of.
I'm noticing a lot of money's being dumped into the maintenance department, and the police
Right.
department's been shied too much.
Yeah.
And that is really, to me, offensive. And you
Right.
can't let one guy
Tools and
spin away
lumber
and
and-
take it away from somebody else. The
Well,
police
uniforms
department,
coming up, the uniforms, Class A uniforms, I don't know if anybody's got any new ones. The last ones we purchased was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
so
everybody
we're
had some.
basically, how many of us would wear an outfit for 4 or 5 years?
well, now it depends on how old you
I
are.
guess.
But, but
you
I know
know,
it's not a police officer.
I-
Police
I
officers
think that we
represent
need
your
to-
city.
yeah.
Police officers need to be took care of because they're taking care
I
of the
think
city.
so too. So,
Is the point.
we need to focus on, especially getting some vests. We need some coats for these guys.
Right.
We need to put some money in the police department, is what I
Boots,
say.
pants, gloves.
Shoes, I didn't even get to the shoes. I'm sure some of you guys know more about what the police department needs.
Shoes, as far as I've been here, nobody's ever bought, police department, the city's never bought shoes.
No, they never
Or
have
boots,
one.
or boots.
Well, now that's bad.
Now, what does the police officers do? They buy their own? We
They buy
pay
their
these
own.
guys
They're,
so
That's buying
little
your
and
own
they
boots,
buy
your
their
own
own.
shoes.
You know, this has got to stop. I mean, this can't go
And
on.
most of our officers, my officers, have got their own belts.
Well, what about your bullets? I'll
Bullets
ask
is
you about
another
your
thing.
bullets.
I've not bought any bullets since I've been here, so that tells you how old our
Mayor,
bullets are.
do you see that
Ooh,
this,
need to be getting them
do you see
now,
the
because-
budget that's in the maintenance department compared to the police department? That it's not being fairly, so I think we need to change some of these things.
And
Well, you know, we've got this department supervisors, and I'm letting the department supervisor control his department. And whatever, and actually, if they need anything, I'd say get a purchase order. I haven't refused them anything, not one thing. All they have to do is come down there and get a purchase order, which tells us what they need, where they're gonna buy it at, and how much it costs. And if we got the money, we get it right there and then. Wayne, have you turned in a purchase order for anything you need?
Everything I've turned in, well, I mean, I've got from you, but you know.
I mean,
But we're
you-
talking about some expensive stuff, and when we start talking about bullets, vests, and uniforms, I mean, you're talking about.
I know we can't get grants for some of this, but some of these, you know, it's getting
We're
winter
talking
time.
about
and-
$7,000 or $8,000, and you know,
Yeah.
and not even get too deep into things, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we need to save one area.
But I mean, we
In
can do
order
it
to-
in stages, you know
There
what
you
I'm saying?
go,
I don't
yeah.
think you bill here say we need $10,000
Uh-huh.
for the whatever.
Get your
uniforms
priorities and work
and-
it.
And do it a little, in a step-by-step time frame, you know what I'm saying?
'Cause
So
now-
then you just need to you need to get
Yeah.
a needs list together
Oh, I've got a
and
wish
submit.
list. I've got a wish
Well,
list
then,
already.
Well,
then you should be requesting a purchase order.
But that's just like, Mr. Ross said a while ago when I wrote that down, something about coal severance tax was gonna pay for this and pay for that and pay for this.
We've not decided that, that's the council's decision.
Well, it's, council got to decide.
Yeah, I mean, he
We
said,
didn't agree
will be
on a
paid
new roof.
by coal
We've
severance,
got
and I
to.
thought, now
mean,
wait a minute.
We're gonna have to consider it.
We're gonna use the money, but we didn't agree,
Well,
the council has to.
That's a different subject. We're talking to Wayne Creech about.
Well, that's what we're talking
We're
about, some of
considering the
that,
same
we've
thing.
got, in other words, we've got some money we can kinda split up.
Well,
Take
when it
care of
gets
all
to,
departments.
over $3,000, doesn't it supposed to come to the council anyway for approval?
20, no,
Just,
I forget the exact
So-
amount, I didn't look at.
Well, I mean, I can get you a wish list and.
Yeah, I think our officers are- I think we need to take a look at
What
that.
we do, they want.
Try to give us one for our December meeting.
Do what?
Maybe get us a
Yeah.
little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
I guess make out
I've
a
got one
list,
already made.
a wish list of
I
things
mean,
that are
December's coming up
necessary.
when I put the wish list in.
Christmas list.
Why, my question is, why haven't you asked for coats? I mean,
Well, they're expensive and not,
I mean,
I've not seen any bought since I've been here. I've been here a year and a half. I've not seen any unless.
we need to take an inventory of what we're slacking on in our police department. And that's dress code and like it's the shoes and like you said, you've not noted of any shoes, we need to take that inventory.
I don't think shoes are a normal issue item for the police department. I don't know why, but
They've got a closet full up there.
no, they've disappeared.
Oh, we do all in the VFW. We do all in the VFW and they distribute them out everywhere.
Yeah.
But those were given to us anyway, but they're,
I remember a council meeting or something where
Yeah, those are all
where you
done,
said that you gave
Yeah, we
that,
do.
yeah. It's been a
There's
while,
probably
but
about 10 or 15, maybe 20 pairs
Yeah.
of ladies' shoes.
I
over
remember
there
that, yeah.
That we've got up there in the closet, but they're all patent leather, but somebody gave them to them.
I think if you need winter coats, because to me that would be the number one thing since it's cold outside today, that you should submit an order, a request.
And I noticed you said your lights, you need batteries for your lights.
Right, the ones that are rechargeable lights,
Mm-hmm.
which these were probably bought in 2009, I'm assuming when the police cars were bought.
Uh-huh.
They're about used up.
Yeah, that, put that on your,
And I've got
wish list too.
6 or 7 of those, so we need
Yeah.
new batteries for them, and maybe a couple new lights.
Because
'cause
Robin
some of
was
the
just
lights-
telling us what tax money we've revenued and got in for.
Go through those emergency kits too, because they're supposed to be up to par.
We just got, I think we got one for every police car here
Yeah, I
like
think we
3 or
got-
4 months ago, but,
Yeah, I think
they're
they-
probably outdated now.
I know in some of those kits, there's just certain things you have to replace that goes outdated,
Yeah.
so.
If they use them, yeah, open them, yeah. Well, you gotta keep a check on, you gotta check everything you need, you gotta,
Isn't that,
perform maintenance on the stuff, or replace it when it wears out.
isn't one of the police officers in charge of doing that, to check?
The chief of police.
I thought there was somebody in charge of checking. I thought it was Dale that was in charge
Evidence
of.
room custodian, he's in charge of
Yeah, and
that.
Okay.
Dale's usually over equipment, and he's sort of semi-over.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, because I know one's over the evidence room and one was over the vehicles,
Right,
or whatever the,
yeah, equipment.
yeah, because we went up there and looked.
Yeah, we've got a list of, we've
Okay.
got a wish list, I'm sure you.
Give
we
it to
got.
us in December and we will,
I'm sure you
see
we
what we
got.
can do to take care of that.
Might be a good Christmas for y'all. We might come up with something.
Is that all you had, Ron?
That's all
I've got
you got,
one question about your reports that you give every month.
Okay.
Is there any way possible, like on this one that you just gave us, it says calls for service 448. Is there any way possible to break that down as to calls made just inside the city? Or calls for assist or anything?
These calls here, I'm gonna say, probably 98% of them were city,
Yeah.
and within the city calls. But we don't put them down if they're out of city. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But this, did I turn into you all?
Yeah.
This is all 95,
Within the city?
90% of within the city. When we do out of the city, we put them in a different thing that I don't turn into you all
Yeah. Well, could you start adding that on the report?
on the out. You want on the outside of the city, or you just want on
Well,
the city?
well, just things that you have to respond to or take care of outside the city limits.
Yeah, we can do that, but I mean,
Okay.
this is not gonna vary very little.
Oh, I know,
You know
but
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
just wondering, like 38 arrests, were they all made within the city limits or were they outside?
Oh,
Same with
I'm pretty
citations.
sure 99% of all this is within the city limits.
Okay.
The only thing we would get outside the city limits is calls for service.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go check on something, and if we can't respond to it, or we don't do cases or something on it, then we call KSB or SO.
Okay,
I mean, sometimes we'll get a call, say in Lynch, or we get a call
Mm-hmm.
in out of city limits in Clover Lake area. We get calls.
well,
we get
I'm
calls even
thinking,
Tots
I
sometimes,
know,
you
but
what
I'm just
saying?
thinking that you know, with
But
the
everything I put
Tri-City.
here was usually, I'm gonna say 98% is all in the city limits.
Okay. So,
We usually don't put anything that's not in the city limits out here.
well, could you though? Could you put it on a report, like out?
I mean, I could, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
if it don't pertain to the city, I mean, I don't know what we need to be.
Well, I mean,
You know,
but it would if our officers are responding to calls outside the city.
but what's that gonna get us? We're still going, I mean.
Oh, I know. I
mean,
realize
I'm not
that.
arguing with you,
I'm
but I'm just seeing
yeah.
a lot of paperwork there
Okay.
that we're not getting nothing out of, you know.
okay.
And then you're gonna end up saying, well, if you answer these calls, why are you calling somebody else out here? You know what I'm saying? And actually, we need to stay within the city limits.
Yeah.
That's the reason. That's the reason why.
And what I'm saying, because we start going venturing outside, then we
Yeah,
get
that's-
See, I
trouble.
thought you all were answering calls in Benham and Lynch.
We do in Benham every now and then, we don't answer nothing
Okay.
in Lynch.
Only if they get called.
Right. We don't answer nothing in Lynch unless.
Yeah, 'cause y'all don't have
dire
any connection
emergency.
on that tie anymore, do you?
That's
That
right.
went kaput.
Okay.
There's one other thing I'd like to add about the radios. I think you got, what, 5 or 6 or 7?
We got 6 right now.
That are on loan from the sheriff's department. And David put in a grant for us and got a $9,000 grant for radios. And it's been approved. Silas is going down there tomorrow,
In the morning.
to take a radio down and talk to him. It's a mandatory meeting, so he'll be going down there to cover that. And we'll probably get maybe 9 or 10 more radios out of the $9,000.
Hopefully 10,
Yeah,
but.
that's
I
good,
mean,
wonderful.
And
Needed
that way we
those.
can get the police department and the fire department on the same frequencies. Because right now, 911 fire department and a 2105 for the police department, it just don't work. So,
So when we get these radios, we returning the county's radios?
No,
no,
no, we'll keep the numbers too.
Oh, you're gonna keep the county's radio?
And we're gonna keep the new ones that we'll have.
they'll be the same kind of radio.
They'll be the same thing we carry
frequency.
right now.
But what I'm saying is those radios you got belong to the county.
Yeah, but we're gonna keep those.
Why would you have 2 sets?
We don't have enough now for my officers, but you're gonna give the fire
Fire
department
department gets
radios.
3 in the place, they don't
What
have.
about the one radio that we're gonna have to pay for one that we're missing?
We don't come back up with it, but it's under investigation right now, so.
That's the new
So
one.
we can count
Actually, that
one
belongs
to
to
pay
Joe
for the
Grissom,
county.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that all you had, Wayne?
All I got, sir.
Okay. I
Somebody
want to thank
got
David
questions?
for getting that grant for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Silas have all the information, make sure he contacts the right company.
He's got.
Oh, yeah, we got all
Because
that.
the quotes may be different than.
He's got.
We've got all that, we talked to the distributor of those radios and Carrie, and we also talked to Judge Jiggy about how they purchased theirs and where they got theirs, so we're going through the
Why,
same big.
why is Silas going and not you?
Well, he's got more time to do it than I do, really, and he's off tomorrow, and it's just better time, just better timing, you know what I'm saying?
Wayne's got to watch the shop.
Go down to 40.
Wayne, that's all you got, man?
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Wayne. Okay, council comments? Who wants to start?
I will. I don't have any.
Ms. Gill?
I've basically discussed with what we've talked about has been some of my comments, but our personnel manual is so outdated, and I know we're coming up on the holidays here in December, that I think we really should sit down and probably maybe January, take a solid, quite a few days and go over this personnel manual and update it so we can get our budget in order with our personnel manual. I mean, I guess some of these wages it's so far behind, so that's what I would like to see. Maybe January, we could choose that month for the council to do
Maybe,
that.
would you consider appointing a committee of, say, of 2 or 3 people, and so they can take the, and
That
go
would be
through
good.
it, and then they can come back to the council.
So we won't wear everybody out.
Yeah.
And, but it does need to be looked at, that personnel manual, really.
80-some
I think
pages.
it'd be better just give council members a section of it to go.
Yeah, that would be good. Maybe
Yeah,
2 council members per section or something. And,
Yeah.
It needs to be revised, that way we can do the budget correctly.
Yeah, it's kind of tough doing a budget and just shooting at the dark. But that's all I have.
Ms. Gillum, I mean, Ms. Kelly.
I pass and tell everybody else and see if I need to bring something up after they get through. They might mention what I had on my mind. I don't know if I-
You should get the same anyway.
You said that Frank was our new supervisor,
Yes,
and what happened to the other supervisor? What'd you do with him?
Stanley he's a crew chief for the outside work. This is a mutual agreement between Stanley, Frank, and me, based on the qualifications. Stanley's got, parents are both sick in their homes, and he's got to be running back, taking off things. And he agreed to it. There's no dissatisfaction among any employee or anything, and it's working out much better for,
So he wasn't demoted, it was just a,
no, Frank Ross is a highly capable individual.
well, I didn't say that, I was just asking.
No, I'm just
about
telling you
Frank,
that. You have to,
Stanley. That's all I had. I'm just curious.
I just have one thing that I had a concerned citizen in our neighborhood in the York section that had called our house and asked that I bring up that parking in that neighborhood is bad, and they were concerned as far as a fire truck even getting to their house.
on sidewalk.
On the streets, yeah, like vehicles in the streets. Couldn't tell you exactly which street it was. I don't know what the name of the street would be, but it was
Probably
right-
Creech Avenue, because I got a complaint that I was parked on the sidewalk, so I parked my car on the street,
Is
like
it-
you're supposed to legally,
Yeah.
and you can't get down that street if somebody's
Yeah.
parked across the street, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
violate the law, so.
Well,
But
you
somebody
can't
had
get a
called
fire
and said
truck.
their
What you're
real concern
saying-
was getting a fire truck if
We-
a home caught on fire or something, so.
we have all kinds of streets that have, you don't have a choice but to park
Yeah.
on the sidewalk. Just
Yeah.
same with her house.
I won't park on the sidewalk, I'm gonna
Wayne,
park in the
I
street.
know,
Are
but
you- are
we
you
don't really have a
enforcing-
choice on some. Have you, some of our streets should be
So
made
little.
one way.
It's so skinny.
How are you enforcing that, or are you kind of lenient with them, or trying to
Well,
help them?
we're trying to hit the trouble spots, but I did find a KRS, and you're probably not gonna like what I'm gonna tell you, KRS says that you can't park on the sidewalk.
You can?
You can't park on the sidewalk, and there's a stipulation in it, I also read, and I called the academy, as long as a wheelchair or as long as some pedestrian can walk by, it don't matter.
They-
You can park on the sidewalk.
As long as they can walk by, yeah.
But the thing about some of the streets is, and I get what people are saying about parking on the side. I
Right,
get
but I
that.
don't know what you do with it. You know
But
what
some
I'm
of these
saying?
houses that when they were built years ago, the house sits on a lot. There's no
There's
way
nowhere to go.
for a driveway.
That's
That's,
exactly right.
and the street's so narrow, some of the solution might be to make a one-way street so that instead of having cars on each side and
right,
you gotta go
right.
through,
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
that's
cars
an
on
idea.
one side and you can make a loop to come back
Uh-huh.
around, and even though they might wind up being on one side of the street, they wouldn't be on the sidewalk. We would have one side of it they could park on and one side to drive straight to in the sidewalk. I could probably show you better than I could. But it would work, and that's one area that
It
I
would work
looked
right here.
at.
on This street here, it would work on that one, and on Main Street, Central Street, and also they really do need more space.
Only
The
in
ones that the
Cumberland.
city owns, we can pretty much change the ordinance to try to work with both sides that have an issue with it. But I hate to see people, like with the incident the other day, just, you have parking on the sidewalk before people wind up in jail and somebody tased. I just think that,
be
that
good.
issue needs to be,
That
It was in the
wasn't,
paper.
that wasn't.
it built up to it. It
No,
built
that
up
was
to it.
totally something else.
Was this in Cumberland? Yeah.
It was in the paper today.
Oh, I
It
didn't
builds
know.
up to the
I
same
see that.
incident.
That'll
You've
be
been
on
over
YouTube.
100 times, I know you have.
Well, this wasn't sidewalks, this is parking in the road, and they're just afraid that they couldn't get a fire truck.
The only thing is,
That's it, yeah.
Well,
park on
it
the
does hit
sidewalk.
the road.
If you park on the
Yeah.
sidewalks, it'd be all right. If you don't park on a water meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where somebody-
Or
Instead of
in front of a
YouTube.
fire hydrant. I mean,
Yeah.
That's definitely against the law in front of fire hydrant.
Because they just end up dragging the car.
Oh, yeah.
But you kind of give them a break, I mean.
Well,
you-
somebody give me a street address over there, or
Yeah,
a certain street,
I don't
you
know
know.
what street
and
it
see,
is, so, yeah.
We saw a lot of times, we go talk to these people, and they'll say, well, I can pull over here, or I can go down here. You know,
I've actually been
you know what I'm saying?
to her house. There's really nowhere, there's a parking space, but there's also, I mean, if you got two vehicles, you're about stuck, you're gonna be on the sidewalk at some point in time on all those houses.
Rudy's parking
Not just
all the
one,
time.
all of them.
All of them.
It's just kind
They
of.
were
My street has
one.
one sidewalk,
Yeah.
and it's on my side of the street, and people park along, and they parked, people on the other side parked off the road, and then people that live on the sidewalk side would park on the sidewalk to give cars
Straight
to go
right away.
through.
That needs to be one way, things like that.
That's what I was thinking, if we made certain streets one way, you could have just parking
One
all
way.
on one
One
side.
side, you know,
And
you're-
But then
Sidewalk.
on the widest street, I've seen cars parked on the sidewalk, so, I mean, where two cars could easily get by, they park on
But like he said, most of them you talk to,
Yeah,
they'll,
they're flexible, they'll try
but
to,
some of them don't have a choice. You
Yeah,
got-
so
you look in
some
front of
of
their house, they
we're sort of locked in, I mean, where you gonna go?
either park in the road and off the sidewalk and they still block traffic, or they ease over on the sidewalk and so
Sidewalk, right.
traffic can get by and they still get in
Well,
trouble.
Wayne, you can take care of, kind of give them a break, okay? And, you know, if they
But I mean,
can.
somebody tell me specifically what address or house.
Well, if you drive around through New York section, you'll find it.
And you shouldn't
Because
specify.
there's 2 or 3
And,
places
you know,
up there.
give
Scott
all of-
Avenue's horrible.
When I was
Yeah,
up
all
there.
of them.
Oh, yeah, treat them all
okay.
the same,
Yeah.
but, I mean, if we have something, where we definitely, a fire truck can do it.
Right, right, yeah.
Well, so you got to remember, those roads were built before
Yeah.
people could afford vehicles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
20s or something.
Oh,
Well,
Model
no,
A
not that
Fords.
long now, because I remember when some of them were put in there, and I'm not that old.
How about
yet.
40?
Yeah.
We go 50.
You work for a living.
They had the general design
Maybe in the
there, let's say
60s they
that.
were put in.
I'll take my car.
Yeah.
Price of gas, we can
He's
go back to
paying.
horses anyway.
Yeah.
Or
That's right.
Amen to that.
bicycle.
But we
Is that
will
all
check
you
on
have,
it.
Liz?
That's it, yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
David, you have a,
We just have a couple of things. We have a letter in our box awarding a contract to Monarch Engineering that speaks of a review committee. Who are the members of this review committee and who appointed them and approved them?
well, we don't have any contracts yet, so we'd probably have to come up with a review committee.
But
It says they
how did
can
they
be.
get, how did they get awarded the contract on this?
We don't have, no contract been awarded yet.
It says voted unanimously to obtain your services in overseeing this important project.
Let me,
You got a copy of that part?
No,
You wanna look at mine?
is that the company that's doing the application for the?
oh, that's the meeting with, we selected him. The review committee was, what do we call it, what was the?
It's like they're saying he has a higher standard than other contractors, or
No,
higher?
that, he was just better qualified to assume the position.
Who's,
because he had
who,
done-
who said he was better qualified, I guess?
I see, we gave that to, did we give them a copy of that? It was it was, started out with, Blue Hair, Eugene Stagnolia, me, Robin, Chris Obradovich, and Joyce Kilgore
Thanks, Mark.
from the Department of Water. We reviewed the applications for the people that were going to apply for any kind of project that came about.
And who, they was appointed by who?
Those people that I told you about right there.
They
I mean,
appointed them, how'd they know who to get?
Well, we put the ad,
I mean, who picked those people to be on this board to pick this
You
engineer?
said it was you,
That
Lou,
make the
Robin?
it
determination?
had to be people that were qualified to know what the.
But
Department
who
of Water.
picked them?
Who picked them?
I picked most of it. I picked them all, really. But I asked Mr.
That would be
Stagner.
up to the council, though.
No, not this. This is a different function.
But you're gonna give these, it's basically, say, for your, provide for engineering services, like promising them they'll be able to.
No, you know, he said right here, the contracts are wide open for anybody that wants to apply for the contract. Nothing is obligated or committed, but we have to have him. We selected Monarch Engineering because he is actually the one that got the grant for us for $1,600,000.
I thought you had a scale you had to rate them on.
Well, we did. We had to
What,
scale.
do you
we
mind
rated
if we get a copy of those?
Scales?
No, that's an administrative function. There's a lot of things that a mayor has to do.
That might be
But now,
administrative,
before
Mayor,
you
but it's
commit to
public
city to
record.
anything, if you want public copies of it.
I mean, it's a
You
public
know, we
record
saw
if it has pertains
governors,
to city.
going to jail for this same thing.
Yeah.
Ordinate to their, so we need to make sure that we get this above water and stuff, but make it's,
This is a completely
The
different.
Department of Water, what did you say her name was? Kilgora?
Kilgora,
So she's involved in it, okay.
yeah. They were all here. They went through the process. We put it in the paper, the people applied, and the review committee selected the one that.
The
they
review
thought-
committee, that's why I'd like to see the rating of the engineers, whoever, I don't know who all
Minutes from
applied.
this meeting we can request.
You got the minutes too? Let me go get it. Wait, no, just a second. I'll go get it for you real quick. Get out here.
I just like to see how they're ranked, and, I mean, who ranked them. There was one thing I was wanting to know, does that open them up to all of the project, no matter what?
Well, I
Is
mean,
it-
it
isn't that
says
the way it
we're
reads?
pleased to inform you that Monarch Engineering was selected to provide engineering services.
I mean, is that from now on, or is that for this one project?
That was-
Said that read?
That was there.
That was one of my questions. I'm glad Dave brought that up.
we weren't supposed to vote on that? Love it.
No.
I thought we
I
would
thought
vote on
you-
something like that.
Well,
No matter what, I thought everything had to be put up. for
they're
bid.
supposed to have a rating committee
Even if
before
they had it.
I didn't even know there was a meeting.
They did.
and you have a scale that you go
Was
through.
that in the Tri-City News?
No, it was in Lexington Herald.
Paper.
Wonder we didn't read it.
You put that in the local paper?
I mean, this could be some trouble here.
I hope y'all don't want us to copy all of this for you. There, you can look at it.
I just want a copy of that rating scale before.
It's right in that, let's see, okay. Try this.
That's all I want. I just want to see a scale and how they rate and who's applied. I don't know
It's
who
in
applied.
there.
Well, it says something about faith. I don't need to know what faith says. What's it say? I don't know.
I think I sent Faith copies of it. She could put it in the paper if she wanted to. Here's the rest of this is in that too.
Well, I wouldn't know how faith had. I just want to see.
Well, this is what,
Mayor, oh, here's what I want to see. Codes right here.
yeah, that's what this is here. This is copies of that. And she can put this in the paper if you. Yeah, it took a lot of time too.
The scoring is what I want to see. And the names of on, who was on it.
You'll just have to dig it out. What I did is just put it in the folder.
This is all that says Tri-City News.
Well,
That's,
that was something she requested, and I just kept it in the folder because it's the same information. I just wanted to make sure we had it. This is the projects right here that haven't been approved, but that's what we were working on. We had to get these things ranked in order so that we could qualify for the state. Here are the,
have to have
It's each different companies here. These are
Well,
just, this is just Leo
This one
Miller.
says Leo Miller, yeah.
This is
There was only
smart.
two, there was only
There's
two
only two,
companies.
yeah.
This is smart.
Just two of them.
So they, this is how they do these points there.
But who gave them the points?
Well, that's what I was wanting a copy of, who actually did it.
I'll,
This tells the total that maximum score, but it doesn't say who did them and how they ranked them.
I thought I gave you the names. That's kind of confidential information.
I kind of find it hard to believe that Monarch outranks Leo. If
Highest record of performances.
well, the council authorized them to pursue an application.
Right,
But that was it,
Yeah.
that was it.
because we made sure we
That's-
worded it.
that's
That's
what
all
we
I was
worded.
I
wanting to
saw
see
the
where
ad in
this
the
ranking
Lexington
scale,
Herald.
you know.
I would tell you that, votes were, but.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, I just wanted to see the ranking scale and how they did it, because I knew that there was supposed to be a ranking scale.
First time
But
I've
this
seen
is the way
it.
worded.
I never, I'd go by the ranking scales right now, but I'm sure that's the best way to do it.
Well, see, I'd learned that
But
something
we
from
gotta
this,
make sure it's honest
this
and
FEMA
upfront.
project. I'd want to
Get
say
ourselves
about
They
that,
should
man.
have done this study and some of this other stuff and advertising for you. So the council may have had some responsibility to do that before. I mean, of course, you didn't know. You do that.
Hindsight 20/20.
But, you know, you authorized them to do the application.
Nothing has been committed yet. We're still in the process of just of trying to get money to do the projects. When the projects come down, you'll have to choose some firm to do them.
Well, I guess,
Here, oh, I'm sorry.
I guess back to my main question was, it says, we are very pleased to inform you that Monarch Engineering was selected to provide engineering services for the water system improvements project. So maybe it's just the wording of the letter that maybe I'm just misinterpreting, but it sounds like to me that this letter is telling them they were selected to provide services for the city.
They will be. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't put a deadline, is that definite? We're not, you see what I'm saying? I mean, is that gonna be from now on, they're gonna be over this?
No.
That's
This
not-
water
that's
just this one.
Kinda wide
project.
open,
No,
I guess.
no,
It's like they're just gonna always do it.
well, no, it's for the water systems project, just what that thing said there.
Is that the one that's related to the resolution, 392?
392, yeah.
Yes,
And so that the
That 1.8
council
million.
resolved in 392 that they would pursue this
that's what.
The application.
which you determine as an important, what's he call it, important, in the letter, David?
Important project.
Important project, so.
I mean, we've got to do something to correct the system.
We're all for that, we just want to make sure the wording doesn't mean that they're from now on, anything goes wrong with our water, they're gonna be involved in it.
Yeah, we may have other
They're
companies
just this
such as-
project.
It's just on that project, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Just on this
that
specific
application.
property.
Yeah, I mean-
Yeah.
It's not even, I don't think
Yeah.
you should use the word project, I mean, that's part of what the
Yeah.
confusion is.
I guess that's what the
Application.
letter said, see, I mean, it's kinda like, they're gonna
It's an
have
application. You've all approved them to the
it.
application.
Yeah,
Council is unanimous. Unanimous vote of the council to pursue the application
Yeah,
for money.
that's what it should
So you
say.
could do it.
yeah, cause it's just the wording of it's confusing, it just, kinda like you're cutting everybody else off and here, you can use, run it from now on.
How many bids did you say come in? Because I remember I saw the ad in the not bids or whatever that,
Application.
the application. I can't even think of a word right now. But I saw it in the Lexington. I know, I know. But I did see that in the Lexington
The
Herald,
letter
so.
from them says engineering service.
For that application.
Yeah, I guess you have to be an engineer to apply for the.
But you said there were two,
I don't know
right?
why they didn't put
I
it
never
in
did get that straight.
paper around here, it was just in Lexington paper, it was accidentally saw. I mean, whoever
So
it's
it should have
Lexington
been in the
Page.
Harlan Daily.
But anyway,
Lexington and Harlan.
that's
Daily.
neither here nor there.
We even sent out copies to some of the engineering firms that we knew. As a matter of fact, we sent a copy to Paul Miller now. But it's,
I mean, that answers my question, I just didn't know about the project.
okay, is that all you have?
Well, I have another question, I guess this is more for Mr. Boggs to answer. We have this Tri-City Utility Authority, and the council appoints 2 members, and Miss Elliott was appointed for 4 years, I was appointed for 2 years, and the mayor has went and appointed an alternate member. Is that legal?
No, wait, did I say appointed or will appoint?
It says I have appointed, which
Yeah,
is
okay.
past tense.
Okay, as an alternate member, yeah.
I'd be happy to answer your question. I don't know all the circumstances. I mean, I don't know if there's been a resignation or a vacancy in appointment. You know, the terms of the appointments are for different periods of time, so I just don't have enough information
Well,
to give you an answer here on the spot. I just don't know, because if there are vacancies but as you well are aware, there are terms for those offices, and, you know, people resign or whatever.
Well, no one's resigned.
Well, I don't.
The 2 years isn't up for me, and the 4
Have you
years
got,
short
y'all
is
have
up.
enough for a quorum whenever for a meeting?
Well, I should have told you about that. We discussed that today, and I think it was understood that can't be done. I was gonna give a report after everybody got through on what happened. I just told you this.
So I don't
Hard,
know,
I
you know,
guess,
David, I just don't know what the circumstances are
Yeah.
around all this.
Well,
You know,
the reason I did appoint Mr. Stagno was because, like you said, there was no quorum. And the city only had 1 vote.
Well, who's not attending meetings?
But David really is, he's got a job in Tay. I can understand why he's not there. Now, let's go back when the
So has he been on
first,
the committee and not been serving? Not
Well,
been
no,
on
I've
the
been
meetings?
to meetings during the summer. I actually attended special call meeting
Last month.
last month that we had.
So, I mean, I just don't
And the
know that-
council knew that I couldn't be
Some
at meetings
agencies,
during the day.
for instance, the library board has, by regulation, there's other laws that if you do not attend in the library, I think if you, that monthly meetings, if you miss 4, then it is an automatic resignation, whether you like it or not. But, I mean, I don't know what all the bylaws are
Okay,
for
this-
the meetings,
this-
David, so I can't tell you, but I do know that if you're gonna serve on a board, you have an obligation to either serve or, you know, step down.
Well, couldn't they just make their time of the evening when everybody could be
Hey,
there?
they are the one, I don't know who sets the
Well,
time for
the
board.
reason we have it at the time we're having it now is because Tim Swimmerman cannot see after dark. And
Well,
right
maybe he needs to be
now,
replaced.
is what it is he is the one that's more or less talking to John Covington, and they're managing the finances right now. See what I'm saying? And he's taking everything back and getting them signed. But basically, all we're doing right now is paying bills to get this. There's no decisions actually been made at the
Can you
board.
pay bills
David
without
can
a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Oh,
but
We have
I
a
don't
quorum
know.
every time we have a meeting.
I don't know.
We've
what the-
not had one meeting because of a lack of quorum, and that
Oh,
was
well, they don't need
last month.
alternates
That
then,
was
do
last month, and there's.
And then we had a special call meeting, David came. That was that
So
Thursday.
you only have
But that
one
was just
meeting.
approved payment for bills. That's all.
but this,
I mean, you know.
let's go back to when we first formed.
This is the first discussion I've had of this issue.
Let me go back to the first time when we first started this committee, okay? There were 6 people appointed, 2 from each city. And I was appointed as an alternate member. You remember that, Yvonne, when Jury was appointed as a member, and he said he could not make the meetings and things? They appointed me as an alternate member, and I attended every meeting.
Yeah, you took his place because he couldn't do it.
Eventually, yeah. And so the reason that you have an alternate member is not to replace anybody, but to sit in to make sure they got a quorum, and that the city can have 2 votes. And I even suggested that the other cities also appoint an alternate member in case another member could not show up. But that was the purpose, the reason that I did
At that time though, Mayor, it was only on a trial basis. It was not established as it is now.
Well-
Now it has officers
And the
that have
council has
been
no control.
designated, appointed. It's the same as a council.
Well,
We've been elected in, so you can't get an alternate to come in and sit in my place and vote for me. Same thing.
Well,
I mean, we have, now have officers, we're an established
you're not elected
facility.
then, you're appointed.
Huh?
You weren't.
That's
elected.
right.
You're
But we're
appointed.
also, we were appointed
Yeah.
and council voted. That's the same thing.
That's the only thing we had any control
So,
of.
I mean, you know, yeah. So now we're in there, and the only reason I'm in there is because you didn't want Mr. Stagnolia in there. Let's just spell it out like it was.
That's right.
But now I'm vice president, and there's 2 from each city.
Well, it's over and done with.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
know.
settled now.
So we don't need an alternate. Well, you can't
Okay.
have an alternate legally. That's what
Can't
I'm
for-
trying to
okay.
say.
But,
You can't.
Okay. it's-
We've already checked on it
it's
with the
fine
lawyer.
then,
and
That's fine, we're working the
over-
way it is.
I mean, it's the same as replacing the council.
Do
I
you have
mean,
anything else, Dave?
right now, there's really nothing to be concerned about voting on because we're just paying bills.
Is that all you had, Dave?
So we do.
One other thing is, have we advertised or started looking for a city attorney?
I called Jeff Brock today to see if he could
Oh,
make
my
some
goodness.
suggestions, and Mr. Parker, Mr. Bog is gonna.
As I told y'all, told me, I've asked around and asked some people to see who's interested, and I'd be happy to continue to do that if you want me to see. I've asked some folks, but, you know, again, it's the time of the meeting. It's not necessarily, you know.
And too much publicity in the
Other people-
papers.
Other people have, other commitments.
What about your
cities.
sister?
And so,
No.
so, you know, you want me to keep, if y'all got some suggestions?
Yeah, please keep the word of
That's
mouth.
one of the
I tried to, I've thought, told everybody I enjoyed the work, so.
Just a lot of questions.
Well, are you gonna give us a party when you leave?
But I like to, I do all, you know, to give my very best opinions on things, I like to
I
look at
appreciate it,
books
too.
before I start answering. So,
You might not
and
say it,
to
but
know
we do
what all the
appreciate it.
We
circumstances
do, we
are.
sure appreciate it.
My phone is listed in the book, and it's always open. I think I've always returned everybody's call. If I haven't, it's a rarity. I always return calls when I get
I've
them.
always got mine returned.
And so, you know, and I've enjoyed working with you. It's not an easy thing to be a council member in a small, struggling city without raising taxes, not having a lot of money. So you're all to be commended to you for your service to the city. And I know all of you have your heart in the right place
Yeah, we do.
and want to do what's best, but you're all individuals. So I'll continue to ask one person, you know, there's a couple people that I could work on. But if you know, it's your call. You know, you have 2 ways of doing this. You have it in the budget, and so actually, it's like the way I work, it's like contract labor, you know. So, council should approve it. I would hope that whoever the mayor would choose, the council would approve, but still it's in the budget, so the mayor can, you know, has to carry that ball, trying to find somebody. And if you approve it, so if you have people you want to suggest to the mayor specifically, or if you want me to do something, I can. But it's a dwindling pool of available candidates.
I really don't honestly know anybody.
I'm not
That's why
lawyer
I
said.
ask around.
I,
Do we
in
have
fact,
any
asked
attorneys
2
that lives
people
up
today,
here that?
And they said, well, I'll try to get back. I asked 2 attorneys today.
And you never know, they might. One of them might get back with you.
Hopefully, you know, something. There are not, you know, I know when I came on, I had been out of the country. We're all off the record. You all want to hear all this? I mean, I'll just,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Carl can tell you, he was the mayor at the time. And I had been out of the country, a rare time, but I don't do that much, but it had been a long vacation. Which I could do that when I worked for myself. I gave myself those from time to time. But when I got back, because it was a routine, do not say he is out of the country, or he's gone, or he's not in the office. There was a policy in our office for whoever answered the phone, say he's not here today, I take a message. Because it was, I thought it was my private information. I didn't want people to know that I had left town for 2 weeks. So I came back, and my secretary at the time said, I don't know who this Carl Hatfield is, but he has called here every day since you've been gone, trying to get you. And of course, the attorney beforehand had resigned a couple of weeks earlier, who, as I understand now, is Benham's attorney. And he has had a number of things that needed to be signed. You have to have an attorney. I hate to tell you that's the law, and it wasn't our making, it wasn't anybody's making, but there were lots of things that you needed to sign for a release of funds. It's, for instance, like you can't enter this contract to buy this truck without me signing a letter and giving, seal of approval, so to speak, on that. You legally can't. You just can't. So you do have to have somebody that will do that. And he had a whole stack of those things at the time. There were several months of things that needed to be signed by the attorney. So I also knew, I will say, I knew that he was, and I told him, I said, well, I must be your last choice, because I have been very unavailable. Anybody else would never have called back. So. But it worked out well. I came to the meeting and tried to do my best. But it's not much different now. A lot of people just don't want the night work. Sure. They got families, small children, kids playing ball. My kids were out of school, no longer playing ball or having things to do on Tuesday night, or they had conflicts with, they're involved in scouting and other organizations that meet at night. And it's, sure. Most people, attorneys particularly, don't want to say, yes, I'll do it, if they can't, give it a shot. Now, the other part of that is you may not necessarily require that they attend the meetings. Some people don't. My partner, Rodney Buttermore, has been attorney for Lynch for over 20 years. And I think he told me he's been to like 3 or 4 meetings in 20 years. But, the pay's different. So it's not the same level of compensation. So you do get what you paid for, maybe. But it just depends on what you want. But most other cities, I think the attorneys attend the monthly meetings in Edwards and in Harlem, and probably more.
We do thank you for it.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
We do.
I will keep working on it. But as I see it in whether or not you have the budget or not, as I see it, it's the mayor's, you said we're going to hire somebody, and the mayor has to present you with some candidates as soon as he can.
I hope we've had some.
I appreciate your efforts in helping us find somebody. I don't know if anyone better qualified than tell us who would do that.
Well, I have, as I'm closing down the files, I have about 4 of these, and and I told the person I talked to today, said, well, I've never done any city work. I said, well, I'll give you what I've got, and I said, I'll even give you my handbook, which I purchased, which I want everyone to know I did and paid for it, didn't I, Rob?
Yes, you did.
I paid for my copy just like everybody else. So I said, I'll give you my handbook, because you'll need it.
We do appreciate it. I know it's not always easy.
But I can't sign anything after January. So somebody else will have to
January
sign
1st. So we better, Carl, you better get your stuff together then.
Make a motion with adjourn if everybody's through.
Should I see anything in the count outside in the committee? If not, we motion made. Second.
Everyone say.
Okay, I second. Yes.
All in favor, so indicate.
Aye.